I'd like to introduce you to Fritz Arrowsmith. In 1948, Fritz and his wife, Marjorie, moved from Council Bluffs, Iowa with 2 little kids and bought a small town newspaper in Solon, Iowa, a newspaper that was on its way to being non-existent, and they took the challenge to make it a success. Mr. Arrowsmith, what was the thinking behind what you were doing? Do you remember when you and your wife first started talking about doing this?
Oh, we've been talking about this for a long time. I'm sorry. Not this newspaper, but especially, but having a small newspaper of our own.
Okay. What experience did either one of you have in running a newspaper?
No, just nothing except that I had worked in weekly papers around the state and dailies. My wife had a little journalism experience in school. In
high school?
High school.
Right. How did you find the Solon Economist?
I think it was an ad in the Des Moines Register.
And you saw it? Which one of you found it, you or your wife?
I don't remember for sure. I probably did.
You did. So you were the one that was looking then?
I was the one that was really looking.
Okay. Why'd you want to do this? That's a big job. Why did you want to take this on all by yourself?
Well, we talked about it for a long time. We wanted to do something where we didn't have to be under somebody else's thumb, so to speak.
What do you mean be under somebody else's thumb?
Well, tell us what to do and what to say, and doing the same thing day after day.
Now, where were you working when you found the Solon Economist?
Omaha World Herald.
And too many people were telling you what to do?
Well, no, not especially, but I had a job to do, but it was the same job more or less day after day, and just get a little boring.
So what was your job at the Herald?
Well, the last job I had was makeup man for the front page in the main news section.
So you would spend your whole day just doing the front page, and what does makeup man be, by the way, mean?
Well, we arrange the type in columns and make up the pages the way the editor wants them, more or less.
So he was the guy that was telling you what to do, basically.
They have control of it, the editors. And we had, on the World Herald, I had 6 editions a night. So we had to do a little changing in between on each one.
Who was the editor of the Solon Economist when you two bought that?
Oh, I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Well, who was the editor after you bought it, when you and your wife moved there?
My wife was the editor.
So she was the editor, and what was your role?
I did the mechanical work.
You did the mechanical work.
Production work, yes.
Is that the way did she just do editorial work and you just did production work?
No. She learned to do a lot of the things in the shop. She ran the line type, bed press.
So she became a printer too?
Yes.
Did you do any writing or editorializing?
Not very much, no. Once in a while I'd write some little thing, but not much.
So to get back to your reason for doing the paper, or buying the paper, is that both of you did a little bit of everything, even though you both specialized?
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're going to continue this in just a little bit. Okay, Mr. Arrowsmith, the former owner of the Solon Economist, Wilton Advocate, and the Durant News in Iowa, is going to tell us the story about how he and his wife Marjorie, a high school journalism student and a printer, got a loan to buy a newspaper in Iowa.
Well, when the owner of the newspaper gave us a price of $6,500, which doesn't sound like a lot nowadays, but in those days, when people were working for 35 cents an hour or $20 a week, it was quite a bit. Anyway, we didn't have any money until we sold our house in Council Bluffs. So we talked to the banker, and we knew we didn't have enough equity in the house to buy the shop. So we went down and talked to the local banker. This was on a Sunday afternoon. And we talked to him for about a half an hour. And he said, well, I think you could do it. You look like the type of people that could do that. So he said, I'll loan you $3,000. So that left us still $3,500 short. So we went to the previous owner and told him if he'd give us a second mortgage for $3,500, we'd take the shop. And he agreed to that. So there we were with a $6,500 debt, and a house that wasn't sold yet, and 2 kids, a daughter 6 months old and a son 7 years old. But we went back to Council Bluffs, packed our goods, and headed for Solon. We arrived there first part of the week, or I don't remember, during the weekend, and with $100 in the bank, ready to start a new business. And it was, all I can say is we moved in the apartment upstairs, and the first week something happened. The first night we were there, and we didn't even know it was happening, and a house blew up, or a part of the kitchen blew up at least, and we slept right through the whole thing. Biggest news story of the year. But anyway, we got the paper out that week. It was fairly, the previous owner helped us, and it wasn't too bad. But after that, and besides printing the newspaper and doing the work and writing, we had, one of us or other of us had to go to Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, 2 cities on each side of us, to sell advertising. That we alternated. One of us would go one week and one the other, or whatever. And we had no car, so we had to take the bus. We finally bought a used car from a dealer in Iowa City for a couple $100. I don't know where we got it, but someplace we got $200 and bought a car. So from then on, it was matter of working 15 to 16 hours a week.
A day, probably.
A day, I mean.
Yeah.
6 days a week, but we tried not to work on Sunday. We worked in the shop together, in the house together. For the first few months, we kept our daughter. During the day, our daughter was the playpen in the shop. When she got a little bigger, so she could stand up and move around a little bit, we moved the playpen outdoors in front of the shop, which it would be pretty hard to do today. But people would come by and talk to her and entertain her, and we didn't have to worry about anybody bothering her. Our son had a little more trouble because here he was, a little Protestant boy in a town, 700 mostly Bohemian Catholics. And the children, the grown-ups were very good to us, but the children were not so good to our son. But he survived, and we spent 5-6 years there. And then we decided that everything was working too smoothly, so it wasn't interesting anymore.
Okay, you know what? Thank you for this, and we're going to stop now, but hopefully next you can tell us a little bit about the day-to-day life of how you printed a weekly newspaper.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.